Many brave hearts are asleep in the deep. So beware. Well, anyway, I got a runny nose here. Anyway, my voice is a little low today. And but believe it or not, Constance and I are, I think, getting better, except for my voice. Let's try it again. Anyway, well, yeah, we're feeling a little better, but probably sounding a little worse. It's one of those things where you don't even want to talk about it. But I'm just a couple minutes late today because we will be canceling Monday night class tomorrow because nobody wants to put up with many brave hearts are asleep in the deep. But we'll hopefully, I think we're on the mend, and next week we'll start up Monday night class again. Today is, I think, National Be Good to Your Children Day. So if you're a child, expect special. If you've ever been a child, expect special treatment today. Okay. I'm going to just talk briefly about a couple things. Number one, my new book, okay, The Tarot Architect. I'm very proud of the book. I worked my tail off for it, and it's got a wonderful introduction by Mary Greer, my friend Rebecca or Iris. Okay, did a magnificent job on the tarot images, and it is, the publisher sent me a picture of it. They have it in their hot little hands. It's The Tarot Architect. It's from the good folks at Wiser, or Red Wheel Wiser, or Wiser Books. And I'm going to have to keep dabbing my nose here. It is available for pre-order now, and if you, I think if you would pre-order it now, it's the official release date is May 5th, but this kind of shows you how what kind of lead time people have on the book. But actually, this is like the Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. The Tarot Architect took me the better part of 3 years to write, and it's something that I'm particularly interested in at this point of my approaching dotage. Anyway, but I'd gotten out some material that made me refer back to something that I had written a little while ago while getting ready to write this. I was trying to. I said somewhere I wrote something that really, in a very few words, kind of encapsulated a lot of information about what makes Yod-Heh Vav-Heh so important, what makes the four Kabbalistic worlds, four parts of the soul, four aces, uh, four tarot suits, four everything. And yesterday we were talking about the 30-degree period that that we're in here as we're approaching the 3 days of the writing of the Book of the Law, which we'll be talking about in the next couple days, and how the small cards, the 36 small cards, live in their aces, okay, and are assigned to zodiac sign. This little diagram right there, there's an ace. It could be the ace of wands or cups or swords or discs. But anyway, the 2, 3, and 4, let's say it's the wands. The 2, 3, 4 of wands would represent the 30-degree period of the cardinal signs of the zodiac. Okay? The cardinal signs of fire, in this case, for the ace of wands. And the 5, 6, 7 of wands would represent the fixed fire signs, or Leo. Okay, so the 2, 3s, and 4s would be the cardinal Aries. Okay, and the 5, 6, 7 would be the fixed sign Leo, and the 8 and 9 and 10 of wands would represent the 30 degrees of the mutable Sagittarius. Okay? It's as simple as that. Okay. This is very short, and I hope I can get through it without a coughing fit and me hawking up terrible things. Here's a quote from Crowley. The aces represent the roots of the four elements. Oh, the chapter is called The Spirit of the Aces. And that's I don't throw that word around lightly. The spirit of the aces. The aces represent the roots of the four elements. They are quite above and distinct from the other cards in the same way as Kether, or number 1 on the Tree of Life, is said to be symbolized only by the topmost point of the Yod of Yod-Heh Vav-Heh. So usually we see Yod-Heh Vav-Heh splashed against a single Tree of Life with Yod mostly hanging out in number 2, Hokmah. But its little cap, its little point, sticks up into Kether itself. And that's more or less shows that Kether and Hokmah, or 1 or 2, is just exists only as a character that is the reflection of 1. So Yod is really Kether and Hokmah, 1 and 2. And then the first Hey, the first female receptive, is number 3, Bina. So in a sense, Yod-Hey represents the entire supernal triad. Just Yod-Hey. Okay. You see a lot of jewelry that just says Yod-Hey. Okay, that's what you're talking about, the supernal triad there. But I digress. In the same way that Kether is said to symbolize only the topmost point of the Yod of Tetragrammaton. In these cards is no real manifestation of the element in its material form. They form a link between the small cards and the princesses. That's why the princess is called the throne of the ace. The princess and the ace are special. Okay. Who ruled the heavens around the North Pole? So in other words, we get in a helicopter, fly over the North Pole, and split the Earth into 4 parts. And those four parts are assigned to Yod He Vav He, and are represented in the tarot by the aces and the princesses of their suits. Both in their appearance and in their meaning, the aces are not the elements themselves, but the seeds of those elements. So that's what Crowley said in the Book of Thoth. Now here's what Lon said to help muddle that up. And I'm seeing if I'm going to sneeze here, if you can read my mind. Excuse me. You may think it odd that I begin my examination of the 56 cards of the minor arcana by first examining the 4 aces instead of the 4 court cards. After all, aren't the aces simply the first of the small cards? I hope I didn't hear anyone ask that question. To say that the ace is just the lowest numbered tarot small cards of a suit is like saying Kether is just the first Sephirah on the Tree of Life. Ultimately, there are not 56 cards in the major arcana of the tarot. There are only 4. The 4 aces. The other 52 cards, 16 court cards and 36 small cards, live inside the 4 aces. As we learned in Chapter 8, if we look at the ace of any suit under a magic microscope, we first see the 4 court cards of that suit living comfortably inside. Let's not stop there. If we increase the magnification level of our microscope, we see that the 9 small cards of the suit are nestled neatly inside in 3 rows of 3 cards. Now, isn't that tidy? Now, I wonder if I can quickly find the 16 court card. Well, maybe not. I thought maybe I had a... No. Let's see. What does Crowley mean when he tells us that the aces are not the elements themselves, but the seeds of those elements? Kabbalistically, the most obvious answer deals with the fact that Kether, the first Sephirah on the Tree of Life, is inscrutable, is the inscrutable singularity of its particular world. As head honcho of the supernal triad, it is above and distinct from the other Sephiroth that actually do all the manifesting in the world. Okay. And of their respective worlds. So I'll read that again. As head honcho of the supernal triad, the ace is above and distinct from the other Sephiroth that actually do all the manifesting in and of their respective worlds. Isn't that explanation kind of a cop-out, however? It sounds as if I'm trying to explain something that's impossible to understand by giving an example of something else that's impossible to understand. I didn't start to grasp the root of the elements concept until I learned that physicists cannot properly define the nature of matter. They go as far as to tell us that the components of atoms, subatomic particles like protons and electrons and neutrons and other strange things like quarks and charm and quark gluon plasma, they aren't matter at all, but can only be described as non-material tendencies. Pardon me. Tendencies. What a perfect description of Kether. What a perfect description of the ace. It is that supremely fundamental tendency underlying a particular element. The Ace of Wands is not fire, but the tendency, or the grouping of tendencies to be fire. And the suit of wands. Physicists theorize that these tendencies likely existed in their pure state in nature under conditions of extreme heat, such as might have existed in the first microseconds after the Big Bang. Accurately or inaccurately, the words these men and women of science are currently tossing about to describe the pre-manifestation tendencies that floated free in the immeasurable heat of creation are enough to make mystics of all schools stand up and salute. Words like dark matter, mana, urmatter, quintessence, and are you ready for this? Spirit. Tarot Trump 20, the Aeon, or the Old Judgment card, represents the element of spirit. But, as we will see, it does double duty on the Tree of Life and in Tarot by representing the element fire. Now I'm going to digress for a second, because Paul Foster Case his theory that is that spirit is Aleph or air, which makes a lot of sense too. I mean, even the name spirit or pneuma or breath, okay, and breathed into God breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, the ruach, and so there's a good case to be made for air, and Aleph being the spirit Hebrew letter. But I digress, like I said. Perhaps this is the tarot's way of pointing to spirit's primordial home in the fire of creation, and how the aces can be the root of their element, yet, as Crowley tells us, quote, quite above and distinct from the other small cards, unquote. As we know, each ace enjoys a very important relationship with the princess of its suit. We touched that relationship in chapter 8 and 11. The princess is the throne of her ace, and when we consider one, we must by necessity consider the other. Hopefully this connection will become clearer when we examine the court cards and the small cards. You might want to look at it this way. The ace being total, absolute potentiality of the element has no grounding, has no place to even sit itself, to start manifesting its various qualities of its element. Doesn't have a place to even ground itself like an electrical current until the princess. The princess grounds it. That's why she's the throne of the ace. They go together. Can't take them apart. Um, Hopefully this connection will become clear when we examine the court cards and small cards. In some card games, aces are considered just the cards that come before the twos in value. In tarot, the aces are the gods of their suit, and they deserve some real respect. So let's take a look at them. And then the next chapter is on the aces. I'm reading from Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot, and I'm trying to whet your appetite, because if you haven't ordered The Tarot Architect, you might want to do so right now, and because I think it's a book you'll enjoy. Like I say, it's actually manifested. I saw the princess of the Tarot Architect. I've taken it from Atzilith, the archetypal, down to Bria, the creation and the inspiration from it, right down to writing it and organizing it in my Ruach or Yetzirah. And I finally saw a photograph of the Tarot Architect in a Sia yesterday. So, and you can have my Asiya in your own hands. If you, I might be delirious here. I'm terribly sorry. Until tomorrow, for those of you who are listening or we're planning to attend Monday night class tomorrow, I don't think Constance and I are we're okay, but you would feel uncomfortable with us blowing our nose and such. So there will be no Monday night class tomorrow night, but there will be, hopefully, the following Monday. So until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Be